Hi. So I had a couple of things come up in meditation today. One was this idea of unattended thoughts and how much havoc they can really wreak on your life. I don't know how to say that. That's funny, huh? Wreak. Yeah, wreak havoc in your life. There we go. The southern mouth gets the best of me sometimes, doesn't it? And the other was like my misconception of meditation, and I didn't even realize that I had it and that it was wrong until I was in meditation today, which is crazy funny. I don't even know how many days of meditation I'm at now. I started August 16th, and Thanksgiving was my 100 days. So, that'd be like another 30 something days. And I'm just now realizing that not only did I have a misconception, but it was actually a misconception. So I definitely wanted to share that with you guys in case this is a, misconception you're having about meditation too. And that is when Kyle Cease was talking about sit with yourself, I was like, this dude is off his rocker. He has no clue how crazy my brain is. Like, I feel beat up by my mind while I'm distracted with something else. How the hell am I going to sit with it and just pay attention to it? Like, I am avoiding it at all costs, and it's still beating me up. But actually, the opposite is true. The mind isn't nearly as abusive or persuasive or as much of a bully. Know-it-all. My mind's a real know-it-all. When you're sitting with yourself, I can't explain it with the mind because it is an experience, not a thought. That's why I keep encouraging you guys to try this. Just try it, because I can't explain it as well as you could understand it until you experience it. But it's really not as loud, as well as I've been able to see the rules that I've had in my life. And it's only because I've sat with myself. It's really hard to explain the difference between being in your head and sitting with yourself. You would think that they are the same thing, but they're not. When you're in your head, you're in there. Everything is like going in a loop, and you have a thought, and then you attach a story, and then it has a feeling, and it just gets bigger and bigger, and it just goes round and round in circles in your head. That's being in your head. Sitting with yourself is totally different. You're like an observer. You're seeing what kind of thoughts that you're having, what kind of action and reaction that's creating in your life. It lets you see, do I want to do it this way, or do I want to do it another way? You really have all the answers inside. You go to friends and stuff for advice, and one thing to take note of when you go to a friend for advice is ask yourself, am I looking for a co-signer, or am I looking for someone who's going to tell me the truth? Because a lot of times we're just looking for co-signers. But you don't need to go to anybody else. You don't. All the answers are within. And when you think about that from a non-meditator concept, it really is you want me to go further into the mind that's already really messing me up? But you don't. You really start to kind of see the separation between the mind and who you really are. We have a presence inside of us that's not what we do. It's who we are. And in meditation, you can connect to that presence. We all create a concept of ourselves, like say, I could say I'm a mother. I do mother children, but I don't see myself as a mother. Does that make sense? I'm a landscaper. I don't see that as who I am. But that's what a lot of us do. We have this concept of ourselves, and I used to do it. Don't think I'm special over here. I've just been meditating. I think that's what people think of me when I talk about meditation. They're like, oh, great. She's not only hugging trees now she's I can laugh at other people's opinions of me because they don't really affect me anymore. It's kind of like, when you're driving down the road and you've got the windshield between you and this bird comes like flying at you and hits the windshield, what does every person do? Even though there's a piece of glass there, they're like, well, that's kind of me in life now, you know, because I am meditating. It has created this glass barrier around me. I can still see and experience everything that's going on around me, but it doesn't come in. There's still times that I'm like, whoa. And you know the best part about doing these hand gestures is YouTube is going to decide that it wants to start my video in some weird place. That's okay, because the message is still good. And if people click on it just because I look retarded or silly, and they'll get a good message just the same. Anyway, what happens when you start, sitting with yourself is you start seeing that you've just kind of conceptualized yourself like, okay, I am a mother, and if I'm not doing that well, then I'm no good. Well, no, that's not who I am. It's something that I do. And it's something I like to do well. It's something I take a lot of pride in, and it is a connection in my life that I work really hard to keep open and loving and mutually respectful. Like, we take our own responsibility for things that we've done to each. It's something that I value very, but it's not who I am. And I can see that when I sit with myself. It's not who I am at my core, at my being, at my level of presence. And the unattended thoughts is what really gets you into situations and interactions that you're not really proud of. It makes you have to take stuff back. A good example of this is when I worked for the specialty courts. I worked for the attorney who defended the clients in the specialty courts, and one of the specialty courts was drug court, and we would take these people into the program, and it was a 12-month long program that consisted of counseling and drug testing and accountability by attending a court session. The people who did really well were put out a month very quickly. They only came to court once a month, but the people who struggled had to come to court weekly. These were the people who had a lot of unattended thoughts, and it was obvious. The excuses that they would give for why they used drugs was quite entertaining. And I would either tell them before or after that they want to try that excuse out on somebody before they come into court. Because there's a lot of times that the thoughts inside of our mind, we think are really good thoughts, and then we say them out loud, and they're like, oh, wait, never mind. Well, sitting in meditation does that. It attends to your thoughts, what you're thinking, why you're thinking it, what's real, what's not real, what's fear-based. It's just, I wish I could explain the sense of self-connection that I have in a way that everybody could be like, oh, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen until you actually experience it. Once you actually sit with yourself and start experiencing these rules that you have that just kind of fall away, like, oh, wow, I'm pretty black and white. I should probably hang out in the gray areas a little bit, because there's a lot more for me to know and understand in the gray areas when I take down my black and white barriers. When I say you have to do it this way or it doesn't mean anything to me, is black and white, and it's rigid, and I miss out on the entire experience for what it really could be because of the rules that I have. So my rules start to fall away. My perceptions change. My glass walls are built. And it sounds weird to say a wall, but what it is it's just, I'm still completely aware of everything that's going on outside of me. It just doesn't get in the inside. It doesn't change who I am or how I feel when I'm connected to myself. It's just stuff happening outside of me. And sometimes some of this is seen as something happening outside of me. I'm like, whoa, that one almost got me. So I guess the message for today is just sit with yourself. It's the message every day, isn't it? Come on, do I got to beat you people with a club? I just wish that you guys could really understand how much my mind controlled my life and my experience of life until I started sitting with myself. And I was scared to death to sit and just pay close attention to those things. But really, by looking at them closely, I saw that they weren't real. They weren't me. It wasn't where I wanted to live my life from. And I wish I could explain it better. But that's all I got for you guys today. I hope you have a great Wednesday, and I will talk to you guys again soon. Bye.